number 50 is absolute value inequalities. We have two types. We have ands and ors. So we're going to do 3 problems together. And then based on the answers that we get, we have to determine if it's an and or an or based on its graph. So we're going to have to make a graph for each one of these. So for number 1, we have 3 and then absolute value of 2x minus 4. Closed absolute value bracket is greater than or equal to 9. So since this has one variable, we're done with systems. We're not doing 4 quadrants. This is a singular variable, so it's just going to be like on a number line when we graph it. So just like yesterday when we were solving absolute value equations, we have to isolate the absolute value expression first. So I have to get rid of this 3. So right now this is like 3 multiplied by that. So how do I undo that 3? Divide by 3 to both sides. So bring down the absolute value expression. It's now by itself. So this is where it will split based on how many solutions I have. So 9 divided by 3 makes 3. So if this number out here is positive, how many solutions will I have? 2. So I have to split it just like yesterday's. The only thing that kind of changes is the second expression that we have to write. But the first expression is going to be just like normal. So I get rid of the absolute value symbols. I bring down the 2x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 3. And then over here, just like yesterday, I bring down 2x minus 4. Negative 3 is going to be brought down. So thinking back to whenever we had a positive and now this is negative, what do you think is going to happen to this inequality if it becomes negative on the other side? Oh, it flips. It has to flip. So this is the only difference between yesterday's and today. This is going to flip.
Is it a decimal?
It is a decimal. Okay, so now I just individually solve each expression or equation or inequality, whatever you want to call it. So over here, I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So I have 2x is greater than or equal to 7. And then how do I isolate this x over here? Divide by 2. Is that going to go in evenly? No.
So it's 3.5.
3.5. So if you want to keep it as a fraction, you can. If you want to write it as a decimal, I'm totally cool with that as well. Over here, I do the same process. So I have to get rid of the 4. Right now it's minus 4. So how do I move it? Plus 4. So I have 2x is less than or equal to positive 1. And then same thing, divide by 2 to both sides. And this is also a fraction. If you want to write it as a decimal, what is 1/2 as a decimal?
1.5.
0.5. I think it's easier to have them as decimals because when we're graphing them on a number line, rather than having like 7/2, you know where 3.5 is on a graph. Okay. So right now, those are our 2 answers, but we need to determine if this is an and, if they hold hands, or if it's an or and they run for the doors. So I'm going to make my little number line. And I realized the other day that people still don't understand my number lines if I don't put numbers on it. So I'm going to put numbers on it. Okay. So at 3.5, is this going to be an open circle or a closed circle?
Open. No, close. Close.
Closed. So 1, 2, 3. 3.5 is between 3 and 4. For 3.5, it says x is greater than or equal to 3.5. So do I shade to the left or to the right? To the right. The other equation says x is less than or equal to 0.5. 0.5 is between 0 and 1. Is it an open circle or closed circle?
Close.
Closed. And since it says x is less than, do I shade to the left or to the right?
To the left.
To the left. Is everything you own in the box to the left? So is this an and or an or?
It's an or.
It's an or.
Relationship.
Toxic relationship. They go for the doors. How do we feel? Are we stressed?
Nope, we're good.
Okay, let's do number 2 is going to be 3, and in absolute value symbol is going to have 1/2 x plus 2. Close absolute value symbol plus 6. is less than 15. So you have two things that you need to get rid of that are on the outside of the absolute value symbol. So you have the 3 and you have a 6. You have to undo the addition or subtraction first. So you have to get rid of that 6. So take a minute, minus 6 to both sides. You have to get rid of the constant. Just like whenever you're solving a regular equation, you get rid of the constant first and then the coefficient.
So we're doing this on our own. Why is there like a line in front of 5?
That's 15. This is 15.
This is what happens when you work with a lot of lines.
15.
Yeah, that's.
See, I was
Yeah,
gonna
that was
question.
like.
Okay.
No, I made that one extra long. That's a 15.
Thank you.
Okay, so minus 6. Somebody wrote that on their bell work this morning whenever they turned it in.
What?
I thought it was a 1, not an absolute value symbol. So that when they were solving it, they thought it was like 1s. 15 minus 6 is what? 9.
And then divide by 3.
And then divide by 3. This is really the coefficient of the absolute value symbol, so you have to divide by 3 to isolate that 3.
It's like the one we just did, divided by 3, and it was not another one.
Oh yeah, it was. That's weird.
Did you do that on purpose?
No, nobody has said that at all. So 1/2 x plus 2 is less than 3. So based on this, I have a positive 3 as my answer. So how many solutions am I going to have? 2. We're going to have 2 solutions. This is where it splits. One of the equations is going to be exactly what it says, but I'm dropping the absolute value symbols. So 1/2 x plus 2 is less than 3. Does anybody want to tell me what they think the other equation is going to be? Maverick.
1/2 x plus 2 is less than -3.
Oh, close. You have to flip the inequality symbol.
Is greater than -3.
Greater than -3.
Does that make sense? Because if it's less than -3, it can't be greater. That can't be less than.
Yes. Okay, so now we solve each one of these. So I minus 2 to both sides. Get rid of the constant. What is 3 take away 2?
1. And then divided by 0.5.
No, you don't divide by 0.5. I mean, you could divide by 0.5, but if a fraction is representing division, what's the opposite of division?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. So what do I multiply by? I don't multiply by 1/2. 2.
Oh, true.
You're technically multiplying by the reciprocal of the fraction. The reciprocal of 1/2 is 2/1, which is really just 2. So I multiply by 2 to both sides.
So x equals, x is less than.
You can do that, seriously?
That only works if the numerator is 1. Okay, so the other side, I'm going to do the same process. I have to get rid of the constant, so I'm going to minus 2 to both sides.
Or minus 3? Wait, no, I'm sure.
Minus 2 to the minus 3. What's -3 minus 2? -5, perfect. And then I have to isolate that x. Same thing, I have to get rid of that 1/2. So what's the opposite of a fraction or fancy division? Multiplication.
Multiply it by 2.
Multiply both sides by 2.
So x equals negative, x is greater than -2, or negative out of 10.
Yes. So we have to make a little graph of these. Are these going to have open circles or closed circles? Open, because they're not including the numbers that they're actually talking about. So
Metallic's the one that they're doing.
really? Yeah, we get it. So if it says x is less than 2, that's an open circle at 2. What's up, Leif? Here, you can look through my pile of bellworks. I don't throw away your work. I keep it in this bin until the end of the 9 weeks, and then I throw it away.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah, just in case there's ever this person that comes in and it's like, I turned this in. And I'm
Yeah.
like, here you go. The no names go in the trash can.
Remember you counting down and I was like right there and I turned it in.
Well, you better look for it. Okay, anyways, so this is an open circle at 2. It says x is less than 2. So do I shade to the left or to the right?
Another.
To the left.
How is that?
To the left.
Why did I get 1.5 points taken off of my cycle 1 assessment?
Because you were talking.
I wasn't.
You were.
I was just watching
Dude,
Star
you're complaining?
Wars.
I got a 5.
5%.
Isn't she recording this on YouTube?
Yes, this is recording right now.
So you have-
This says x is greater than -10. So that's an open circle at -10. And then you would shade which way, to the left or to the right?
To the right.
To the right. So what kind of compound inequality is this? This is an and they hold hands.
I'm gonna show my mom this video and say, oh,
This is a non-toxic relationship. They
Yeah.
love each other. They are holding
You
hands.
know, put your name
that
on it,
doesn't
please.
exist with Tyler.
Okay. So I have one last problem. Shh. I have one last problem I want you to try completely on your own. I believe in you. Whoa. Too much?
No, not too much. Just too much. I like it.
It's
not wrong.
Wait, I wanna finish writing.
Anyway.
I'm gonna leave it up. Hold on. I just need to rip it out.
This class is like chaos.
Okay.
Even you guys are chaotic today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Friday.
It is Friday. It's a bad day to
It's
record a lesson.
fine.
Okay, so I'm gonna put number 3 up here, and I want you to try number 3.
One or
That
That's a
that is a 1.
Is it? Oh, it is. I have that on my paper.
You could have Lace sort your papers.
Yeah. You can do your dirty work.
So take a minute. I'm gonna tell you right now that even though this ends up being equal to 0, you still have to split it because the sign will still flip. You will still have 2 answers. So take a couple minutes.
Why does this thing take up so
I
much
guess we'll never
room?
know.
Like one problem takes up half the page.
Because these are the harder ones. Your homework and your assignment's a lot easier than this. If you could do these, you'll be fine.
I can't do these. Just don't want to do this.
Oh, what dumb people.
That means I'm
Oh,
not.
Wait,
Thank you.
we just have to-
I think I just will ask for.
So the first thing you need to do is -6 to both sides.
I'm not doing the homework, there was one like this and I got confused. Because,
Thank you.
Oh, crap, I didn't see the
I'll fix
last
it.
part.
Thank you.
Like you're inside while you have sunglasses on.
Because I'm sexy.
So it's.
hey,
Sure,
you're recording
sure,
this.
sure.
No, it's not.
Oh yeah, Miss Alex recording this.
Come on. You didn't look like-
Look at the bottom part.
You said you still have to split it.
Oh.
Miss Alex,
You still have to split it.
It flips sign.
You divide it by 2?
So you're gonna -6 first, move the constant first, -6 to both sides, you're gonna get 0. And then you're gonna divide both sides by 2.
And then do we graph it?
You are gonna make a graph for
I'm
this.
gonna write the
You have to
last
turn
part.
around.
Yeah, I want you to try it.
Wait, how many more problems do we have?
This is the last one.
You should have just made us do 2.
Yeah.
By graph, do you mean put it on another one?
Yes.
I'm confused. So.
If we finish it sometime.
Is it no solution because it equals 0?
No.
You have to
Wait,
split it.
Go
So.
0 divided by
inside.
2.
Zero.
Don't believe.
Thank you.
Did you say what's 0 divided by 2?
Yeah. Times the solution.
What?
And yesterday, whenever we were doing this and it was equal to 0, and I just put an equal sign.
0 divided by 2.
Hold on. Shh. You don't get no solution. That's if it equals to a negative number.
That's one solution.
That's one solution. But I still need you to split it because this sign still flips.
Okay.
So you have 2
Oh.
options. You have x minus 9 is greater than or equal to 0. And you have x minus 9 is less than or equal to 0. Why did I not make 0 negative?
You can't make 0 negative.
Zero is
Because
already 0
0 is 0. It can't be negative or positive.
Is it an or?
in the middle.
Because they both go away from each other?
I see.
But they're
Mm,
also like on the same plane, so it's and. Because they're on the same
Mine.
stuff. Because it's an
We're
equal
so
to,
popular.
and an equal to has the thing there.
You're not.
It's an and. I'm so smart.
It's not an and.
What is it?
We're going to talk about it. So this is what you should have gotten.
How does it equal?
It's there.
Oh.
How would it equal?
Okay, let me explain.
Plus 9.
Shh. You have x minus 9 is greater than or equal to 0. You should have got to this part. 0 is neither positive nor negative, but you still need to split it because the sign still flips. So you add 9 no matter what to both sides. You get x is greater than or equal to 9. And then over here you have x is less than or equal to 9. So let's graph this and see what it looks like. So we only need 9 really on our number line. 9's over here somewhere. Is it an open circle or a closed circle?
Close.
Close, meaning it's including 9 as an answer. If this says x is greater than 9, do I shade to the left or to the right?
Wait, does this mean many solutions?
Good job, Chloe.
Oh.
This says x is less than or equal to 9. So this entire thing is colored, which means technically it's not many solutions, it's all real numbers.
Oh.
Meaning any number that you plug in,
Does that say 21x or is it just a line?
that is to absolute value x minus 9.
Big brain. Shut up.
And that is the last example.
So how are you gonna teach us ors and ands in this whole system?
Well, this one's a weirdo. It's supposed to be like, no, they're not going to give you this kind of problem on the EOC.
Good.
This is like an extra critical thinking.
Okay.
Your typical problems are going to have ands or ors, or they're going to have one solution because it's an equation. Okay, bye online kids. YouTube channel.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Like and subscribe.
I said
Like and subscribe.
YouTube channel.